curious, appreciative. Colonectus sapidus translates from Latin and Greek as the beautiful, savory swimmer. Across the American coast, from the Chesapeake Bay to the Gulf of Mexico, this specific estuarine crustacean has anchored distinct regional foodways for over a century. But as this diagram illustrates, the blue crab presents a unique anatomical challenge. While a lobster or a crawfish provides a single large muscular tail, the blue crab is built as a labyrinth, complex interior chambers, and a network of fragmented pockets of meat. Every iconic American crab dish was specifically designed to navigate those physical constraints. From the Maryland cake to the Louisiana gumbo, these recipes were essentially reverse-engineered to fit the crab's biology. The crab's biology also provided the mechanism for its commercial success. Provided those gills remain moist, the crab can survive for days entirely out of the water. That physiological resilience allowed 19th century watermen to load live harvests into wooden bushel baskets for the rail lines. A highly localized catch could suddenly survive a multi-day journey to inland urban centers, establishing the blue crab as a national delicacy. Because the blue crab's armor is so difficult to navigate, the first major culinary decision happens at the dock: how to cook the animal whole. This choice created a sharp geographic divide in cooking methodologies. In the Chesapeake Bay, cooks rely on vapor. They suspend the live crabs above a boiling mixture of water, white vinegar, and beer. This steam cooking method is used specifically to preserve the internal juices without waterlogging the delicate meat. In a classic Chesapeake crab feast, heavy coats of dry spice are applied to the exterior shell. This turns the meal into a slow, communal event, picking the meat by hand on paper-covered tables. The Gulf Coast approach, rooted in Cajun and Creole traditions, takes the opposite path. Live crabs are submerged directly into rolling boils seasoned with cayenne, citrus, garlic, and liquid crab boil, where they soak and absorb the spice deep into the muscle tissue. These divergent techniques solve the same anatomical problem. The Chesapeake method protects the buttery sweetness via steam, while the Gulf Coast boil forces liquid spice through the shell. Inside the shell, the blue crab follows a strict commercial grading hierarchy. This wireframe shows how the internal muscles are completely compartmentalized. The most prized cut is jumbo lump, the two large, unbroken muscles directly connected to the rear swimming paddles. Because jumbo lump is so delicate, it demands culinary restraint. This specific yield dictated the invention of the Maryland crab cake and Gilded Age crab imperial, dishes using minimal binder to protect the whole muscle. The secondary cuts, claw and backfin meat, are made of smaller muscle fibers. These are darker, denser, and carry a significantly heavier flavor profile than the lump meat. That density withstands heavy cooking. It fuels hearty mid-Atlantic vegetable soups and deep-fried Tampa deviled crab croquettes. This robust flavor profile also anchors Charleston's she crab soup. In the early 1900s, a local butler named William Diaz elevated the soup by adding orange roe from female crabs, specifically for a dinner honoring President William Howard Taft. These regional recipes aren't just cultural inventions. They are calculated applications designed to maximize the specific fat, moisture, and textural characteristics of each anatomical cut. To grow, a blue crab must shed its rigid exoskeleton. It slowly backs out of its old shell, existing in a soft, vulnerable state. It repeats this up to 25 times in its life before the new shell sets. Commercial shedding operations are defined by intense biological surveillance. Watermen monitor peeler crabs around the clock so they can harvest the animal the moment it molts. This labor produces a fully edible soft-shell delicacy. Because the entire animal is edible, it is deep-fried whole, becoming the primary component of the New Orleans soft-shell crab po' boy. This specific Gulf Coast staple exists because human labor adapted to intercept a transient, hours-long biological event. Today, a massive portion of what Americans consume as crab is actually imported Southeast Asian swimming crab or processed imitation surimi. Ubiquitous dishes like crab rangoon have entirely divorced the word crab from the actual domestic Calinectus sapidus tradition. At the same time, domestic production is under systemic pressure. The base of American crab picking houses is shrinking, and processors describe planning entire seasons around the uncertain outcome of seasonal labor lotteries. Environmental shifts and economic pressures continue to challenge the multi-generational watermen of the Chesapeake and Louisiana basins. A true domestic blue crab dish represents a direct imprint of estuarine biology perfectly synthesized with the hard-fought labor history of the American coastline.